Kane, did you hear about this?
In terms of time, we're halfway through it. Being 14 weeks now, try not to take everything super duper seriously. That means the adjustment that we made earlier this week is doing its job. Toes are kind of crossing over. Getting one of those right now. But I'm tired now, so let's go home. Hey YouTube, welcome back to another vlog. We are on the way to the beach for a 4th of July trip right now. It is officially 14 and some change out from show number 1. So obviously been taking you through the prep thus far, and in terms of time, we're halfway through it. We literally have already gone halfway through the time of dieting. Now, I preface this on Instagram the same way that I'll preface this now. That is not the relative difficulty, because the amount of difficulty we've encountered up until this point has been pretty minimal, I would say. The diet has not been super duper strenuous. We actually just made our first food adjustment this past week. So training day calories came down from about 2,800 to about 2,600. So about a 200 calorie difference, which is not nothing. And then rest days came out about 200 calories as well. So those sit around 2,300 or so right now. I'm not somebody who knows the exact macros of everything or the calories of everything. It's just the exact same foods every single day. I did track macros for years, and that was fun and all, but I would say that the flexibility that that gives you when you're in a prep can actually be detrimental in some ways, because I would be a little bit more fixated on, like, how do I get the best use for my macros? How do I get the best use of whatever I have left for the day? And it made me a lot more fixated on food and on my meals, which then in turn would ramp up hunger. So it's a lot easier to just eat things on the plan when you know that that's all that you're gonna be getting. So I have a very simple meal here today. It's meal 4. Literally just chicken and green beans. I used to have rice in this. That was the adjustment that we made, was taking the rice out of this meal. So really the main difference between what I eat in an off season and what I eat in a prep is just more or less rice. And it's just kind of portioned out differently. We're trying to protect the carbs that are around like the training window. So now that it's been 4 or 5 hours since I've trained, the meal that comes after that now has no rice in it. We'll have rice before we go to bed, which means that I'll be able to sleep well, and that's another thing that's kept up really, really well thus far this prep. But we got a 3.5 hour drive right now. We're headed to go spend time at the beach with my family, relax and chill out a little bit, enjoy the 4th. We can watch the other guys grill out while I eat stuff like this, and it doesn't mean that I'll enjoy it any less, so it's gonna be a fun time. So we're about done with the drive now, 3.5 hours done. Just dropped Megan off at the front of a Lowe's Foods while I get gas, because we need a couple things. I don't even really remember what it is. We're getting eggs, because we're cooking breakfast in the morning, so gotta have bacon, eggs, and green beans. That's the standard meal 1 procedure, but Megan eats eggs as well, so getting those. Got a couple other items. I think we need to get like water or something. She's squaring all that away. I have filled up the tank, and the place is like 5 minutes away. So we're a couple minutes out. We got everything that we needed from Lowe's, which was salad for a lasagna meal, eggs, and ice cream for someone. We got all squared away. I'm going straight, right?
You're going right.
Oh, right at the light?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, and we passed a blueberry stand on the way in, and the sign outside of the blueberry stand said closed, and then it said reopening, it said closed until July 7 or 8. So when we went by, we're like, I guess that they're gonna decide when the day gets there, what day they're gonna reopen, like just show up and maybe they'll be there. We'll see. It's undecided apparently. And then also too, when we pulled up to Lowe's, I realized that I had been in that same strip mall before because there's an Anytime Fitness there. And not the last time that I went to the beach, but 4 years ago or so, when I went with one of my buddies' families, we drove like 30 minutes to go to this beach, or to go to the gym rather, because there was no other gym around in the area. So it was like us and like, you know, a bunch of high school kids that had off for the summer that were training in the middle of the day around the 4th of July weekend. So maybe the editor can find some old footage of that. It probably doesn't exist. But yeah, back in the good old days of just training at any time, before any type of competing or any of that was even on the radar, literally just going and being like excited to, you know, squat 3+ plates. Like that was a big deal back then. So yeah. It was a good little throwback for 4 years ago, but we're about to pull up to the place now and go say hey to everybody.
Drop some word, I'm like, what? And then I gotta go back and I'm like, what is that?
Dude, did you hear about this?
What?
This was where he got Javier for his birthday.
That I have with some of this stuff is basically adding things and expanding on things that aren't there to make it.
Something like, and I have all these extra engines and transmissions.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I'll just throw something in it and sell it and make a couple $1,000.
And good morning. It is the 4th of July. It is about 9:30. We've gone and taken the check-in shots because today's Friday, so that's the day that we do that. It hit 182.4 this morning on the scale, which I think is a new low. I've been kind of hovering around this like 183-ish range. So to see lower into the 182s is good. That means the adjustment that we made earlier this week is doing its job and getting me leaner. Definitely leaner from the visuals this week, but trying to take the check-in photos was a bit of a bear. I was trying to set the camera up in like effectively like a sand pit. And even in that, there's ant hills everywhere. So while I'm posed up, there's ants crawling on my feet, and it's just a fun time. And it's like in the harshest, most direct sunlight possible, so you know it's fully honest. But we did that. I'm a little worried for us getting out onto the beach because it's now 9:30, and I think it's going to be really, really busy. So, but everything is going to proceed as normal from a nutrition plan. I think so today is a rest day, which means that I get salmon in the first meal. So I'll have salmon, bacon, eggs, green beans, and then at some point we'll drive out to the beach. But getting parking could be very tricky. So it sounds like we're about a mile and a half away from the beach. So it might be a situation where somebody drops people off, they go find a beach spot, and then takes the car back here if there's no parking available, and then walks to get the mile and a half in, which would be productive to go ahead and get the steps in and done for the day. Although I would prefer to do the majority of them on the beach. I'd like to be walking there. So we'll see how it goes, but we'll go get meal 1 squared away, and then the rest of the day is going to be chilling and relaxing.
Calvin talks about Christ and the Trinity and the atonement and the church and the sacraments and church discipline and the magistrate, everything he touches on it in somewhere in the Institutes. Now,
and good morning, day 2 here at the beach. We're at Oak Island Fitness today for the back and legs session. Spent the morning chilling, sleeping mostly. Didn't get up until like 8:45, 9 o'clock, I think, which is a lot later than normal. But we also went to bed a lot later. So basically have just had one meal today. It's the cream of rice pre-workout, which is the same as always. Get the electrolytes in, got a lot of water in, and spent the morning watching Pastor Matthew talk through theology videos and watching people train and get ready for the session today, because it's going to be raining basically the entire day at the beach, which means that what better way to spend the day than getting the training session in. So, and it's going to be a long one because that's the nature of the Saturday sessions. So got the RDL on the docket. If there is a pendulum or something, which there may not be because this is a smaller gym, but it seems like the best local option, and it's only like 5 minutes away from the place. So we're gonna get in there and get some work in. Okay, so just finished with RDLs. Moved better than I expected, to be honest. 405 was going for like 6 or 7, even back home at Crush It. And with the travel and the 4th of July events yesterday, really was not thinking that I was gonna feel this good today. But moved for 8 today, which we're happy with. So we'll take the back off at 365 or so, see what that moves like. And then we'll move over to the Squat Pro, which conveniently they do have here. It's not a massive gym, but it's kind of crowded in a lot of ways, and it's quiet, but it's nice because they do have a good bit of decent equipment in here. So we'll continue to ride on with the session, happy again with how feelings are already feeling at the beginning of it. So imagine that the Squat Pro is going to move well as well, and then we'll move on to back stuff. Okay, one solid set on the squat pro done. Moving the same weight that we did back at home, 6 plates per side. It's a different version of it. I think it's one gen older than the one that we have at Crush It, but 6 plates per side, still moving for 11, which is good. Got to be mindful of like the last rep or so when the hips come up a little earlier than the rest of everything, but when I get to that point of the set, it's kind of hard to hold perfect form, and that's maybe how it should be, but another rep or two after that wouldn't have been very productive. So would have mostly gone to lower back and glutes and all that, and I don't need more of that. This is the only set that's in for the day for quads. So it would have been nice to have the heel elevated shoes that I just got, the Nike Romaleos, but make do just as good without them. So still good, still productive. We're gonna move on to pull downs, see if they have some type of chest supported row, and then hip thrusts, and then fluffy stuff, like I say at the end, rear delts and biceps. And then maybe we'll pose at the end, we'll see. Tired. So they do have a Nautilus glute drive here, which is the machine that I normally hit on this day for this, but we're hitting the glute isolator instead for a couple of different reasons. One is I'm tired. That's probably the lowest reason, but it's a reason nonetheless. My lower back and glutes are quite tired. Probably, again, this is the travel and everything catching up with me, being in the car for so long, sitting so long on the beach yesterday. But then also, too, I'm getting one of those, the foot cramps where it feels like your toes are kind of crossing over. Getting one of those right now. So to do one set on the Nautilus, where I lug 14, 15 plates over there, don't really feel like lugging them all over there and then getting a cramp mid-set when I get one set to work. So that, and then also too, there's just a lack of plate availability here. So I would feel bad taking them all. But this feels better anyway, so for today and for right now, this is gonna be the efficient and better call. But once I go back to the home gym, then we will continue to pull all of those plates over there to hit one really good set on the Nautilus glute drive. Yeah, so we're gonna hit one more of these, move over to the fluffy stuff, rear delts, biceps. I'll say one fun thing about visiting gyms is always seeing what type of music that they play in there, because you'll get, like, we play a lot of rock and metal, which I love all that. It's all the bands that I've seen live, but it's fun every once in a while to see, like if you get like an old school gym and they're playing like 80s and 90s or something. But in this gym, it's probably the first one that I've seen where it's like, it's been all like pop punk bangers. So we've heard Story So Far, Neck Deep, just finished playing Mayday Parade, and then now we're on to Newfound Glory. So something different to keep it fresh. So I pulled my headphones out and I get to just listen and train to this, because being 14 weeks out. Try not to take everything super duper seriously. There'll come a point where most of my music probably will be somebody screaming at me. But for the time being, I can train hard and I don't need that external motivation. But when I need the kick in the pants, because I'm dragging and I'm leaner, that will be useful to have then, because I don't want to get burnt out of it now. So right now we'll listen to pop punk. Okay, so this may come as a surprise to some, but prep life is not all sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes you go on vacation and you can't eat all the nice foods that everybody else is indulging themselves in. And sometimes you deal with, like what I'm dealing with right now, where I get like this abdominal pain from not eating a lot. It's like a tightness around here that I think is mostly stress related. I hold a lot of the tightness, just generally in my abs. But we'll see what the upper body looks like. This is at 14 weeks out from the first show, but also many, many out from the hopeful last show. Probably 21 or 22. It's going to be a decently long season, 7 or 8 weeks, potentially more, depending on what goes on. So we'll strip this down and then get on out of here. liking that teapot pose more and more. But I'm tired now, so let's go home.
How hard is it trying?
It's trying so hard.
It's trying so
I
hard.
mean, it's 20% trying.
Yes.
Not really making a great effort.
This
That whole
started out
sunshine.
as 5'3" LS.
We're gonna look at that this week in Psalm 11. We're gonna look at suffering again here in Psalm 11. And so let's read Psalm 11.
All right, guys, we have successfully made it home, and we are on to what is the second meal of the day. It is now 2:30, but we drove the 3.5 hours back, dropped my brother off, and then came home and unpacked everything. So laundry's rocking. We got rice cooking already for the meals that are going to be in the week coming up from last day at the beach, even though it was like raining really, really hard. We got to go and try to find a church to go spend some time at, spend Sunday morning at. And we thought we had found one, and it said online that they had an 8 o'clock and an 11 o'clock service. So we drove to the building at 8 o'clock, and there was nobody there. And then we found out through closer information, closer examining of the website, that on one of the other pages it said that the 8 o'clock service was actually at the pier. So we went inside the little gift shop thing area when you walk through that to get to the pier. That's where we had the worship service. We talked to the pastor for a few minutes after the fact, and overall it was just it was a fun, like, little cool experience. Literally just singing and listening to the message that he gave out of Psalm 11 too. So it was a fun time. But we're gonna eat chicken and green beans right now. I am way behind on steps, and I have 10K to get today. So we're gonna knock this down. We're gonna go out and get some steps, hopefully before the rain catches up with us here, and then we're gonna call it a wrap. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, like and subscribe if you have not already, and we will see you in the next one.